stop the police from going ahead and registering the arrest. Chandrababu Naidu recently had said that he was worried that he would be arrested soon. Now, he alleged, according to the FIR, it is being said that he allegedly masterminded the scam under the guise of Andhra Pradesh State Skill Development Corporation to train the unemployed youth in the state. And 371 crores is what is being said. Now, it is being said also that when it comes to the FIR, some of those details are not mentioned, whether he is still there as a name in it. But Chandrababu Naidu reacted to it, and let's listen into what Chandrababu Naidu had to say when it came to the allegations on the skill development front.
క్యాడర్కి ప్రజలకి ఈరోజు నేను ఏ తప్పు చేయలేదు, కావాలని రాత్రి వచ్చారు. రాత్రి వచ్చి ఈ ప్రాంతం అంతా కూడా భయభ్రాంతులు చేశారు. ఏదో కేసులో పెట్టి ఏమాత్రం ఆధారాలు కూడా చూపించకుండా ఈరోజు నన్ను అరెస్ట్ చేశామని చెప్పే పరిస్థితికి వచ్చారు. నేను అడిగాను, ఏం చేశాను చెప్పమన్నాను. లేదంటే ప్రూఫ్ ఆఫ్ కాన్సెప్ట్ కూడా ప్రైమా ఫేస్ ఏమైనా ఉంటే చూపేయమన్నాను. ఏమీ చేయకుండా ఇప్పుడు ఎఫ్ఐఆర్ వేసాం అని ఒక ఎఫ్ఐఆర్ కాపీలో కూడా నా రోల్ కానీ ఏదైతే వాస్తవాలు ఉన్నాయో అవేమీ చెప్పకుండా ఈరోజు చేసే పరిస్థితికి వచ్చారు. ఇది చాలా బాధాకరం. ఇది చాలా
Chandrababu Naidu claiming that his name was attached to the FIR with no role of his being in fact directly looked into. There were other reactions also coming in from the TDP. Let's listen into what Komar Reddy had to say.
Yes, from yesterday late in the night, the AP police and the CID officials have started the process of illegally arresting Chandrababu Naidu. Hundreds of police officials have gathered at the campsite of Chandrababu Naidu near Nandyal. We all know that Chandrababu Naidu is a Z plus category protectee. He is an NSG protectee. Even after knowing that, with hundreds of policemen, they have illegally detained all the leaders who are staying along with Chandrababu Naidu in that campsite, and they have started knocking on the door of the bus in which Chandrababu Naidu was staying. The NSG officials have strongly resisted this. They said this is not the procedure not to approach an NSG protectee. And at around 5:30 in the morning, Chandrababu Naidu came out of the bus and he asked one simple question: on what grounds are you arresting me? What is the case in which you are arresting me? What is the prima facie evidence you have? But the police had no answer. Even after Chandrababu Naidu himself and his team of lawyers repeatedly asking the police on what grounds they are arresting, what is the evidence they have no reply. Is it not the right of a citizen in this country to know on what grounds he is being arrested? Are we living in a democracy or are we living in a draconian state? So this is the high-handed manner in which Jagan Reddy's police are behaving. They are saying that they are arresting him in some skill development case. So we all know that from the past 2 years, this skill development case drama is going on. And now, just before the elections, just because elections are round the corner in the next 3-4 months, they are carrying out this arrest just to brand Chandrababu Naidu as some kind of a corrupt politician in front of the people and gather some kind of votes. But this Jagan Reddy will not be successful in this futile effort because people know that it is Jagan Mohan Reddy who is the most corrupt politician in the entire country. From the past 40 years, not even a single allegation of corruption had been proved against Chandrababu Naidu because he is such a sincere and honest politician.
That was in fact Komar Reddy making the statement there. Now, in fact, we have two people who are joining with us, especially to discuss on this matter. We have A. Sai Shekhar, senior journalist who is joining us. We have also PVS Murli, political analyst, who's also joining us in the studios. Let me first go to A. Sai Shekhar. Sai Shekhar, how do you in fact see this particular aspect of this arrest and how much of an issue it is going to be just ahead of a likely election that is going to be closely fought in Andhra Pradesh?
Yeah, it's politically motivated and there is no doubt about it. But at the same time, I would like to tell you that this is not something that has been taken out of the blue. It has been brewing, and they have been talking about this case for since 2021.
When the first
And
FIR was filed.
yeah, and also it was triggered by a whistleblower, and also the enforcement directorate and the GST council have GST department in Pune. They are the first ones to detect some 241 crore unpaid amounts in the GST returns, and that is where everything, the blue got the lid on the bottle was blown off, and the whole thing came out at that point in time. But yeah, it is politics, and leveling charges of corruption on each other has been there in Andhra Pradesh. Perhaps that's not exclusive to Andhra Pradesh alone, and across India, you can see many cases happening like that. Even Narendra Modi government was also charged with favoring Adani. So the trading of charges, corruption charges on both sides is not new. National Herald case, everything is politically motivated. And Chandrababu Naidu's arrest has actually surprised me, because I thought Jagan Reddy would go in a very politically calculated manner, in which he might not arrest Chandrababu Naidu and fetch undue sympathy for him. But according to the field reports that we are getting, except the TDP, not many people are reacting. As in CPI and the BJP, led by Purandeshwari in Andhra Pradesh, are in cohorts with Chandrababu Naidu. So they have been. It's not very surprising to find their reaction, but then the popular backlash has to be seen yet, because we need to, the news has to sink in, and how long this will happen, and whether Chandrababu Naidu will get a bail today itself. If he gets a bail, that will be a backlash on TDP. If he is not getting a bail, then that will be a backlash on YSRCP. So we need to see how it pans out.
Well, we have to see how it is. Let me, in fact, also get in PVS Murli, political analyst, into the discussion as well. Mr. Murli, how do you see this arrest? A highly charged atmosphere in Andhra Pradesh. We know the kind of rivalry that exists between YSRCP and TDP. It doesn't end with an arrest. It tends to have its own repercussions. Elections down the corner, and at the same time, two prominent leaders upping the game in an election bid. Arrest, as Mr. Shekhar was saying, is it possible of a huge sympathy wave that we could look at for Chandrababu Naidu?
See, let me put it this way, before talking about whether would there be a sympathy wave or not. But the fact is, today, the very fact that it was all the political arrests would happen during the weekend, and which means that the chances of getting the bail for the next couple of days is remotely possible, unless there is something extraordinary thing that happens. So which means that it is more of a, if the case is pending for so many years, and then you don't take a decision, if it is a logical one, with a lot of concrete evidence and kind of stuff, you don't do it on the weekend, in any case. Now, that's point one, where, unless the needle of suspicion moves towards the political vendetta, that's point one. Point two is, I think, as the report says, that there is no mention of Mr. Chandrababu Naidu in the FIR. So I have no reason why there is any local stand-eye in arresting him. That's point two. Point three is that if there is a strong evidence, then it should have been portrayed to the accused, and if that is the right word to use, and then I think the story would have been logically and conclusive. But here there are a lot of opponents, which means that it is nothing to do with the whether there is a corruption or not, but it's certainly towards to the move towards the coming elections. And you're saying, you are corrupt, and if you brand me as corrupt, I can brand you as corrupt as well. And that is exactly what's happening. But the fact of the matter is, Jagan has got so many cases which are pending, and let's face it, he's on the bail. He's a chief minister on bail. Now he knows what the intricacies involved in the whole legal system, and so he just wants to get somebody else also into the system, so that the more the many, he would have a company as well. Now that's besides the point. And then we answering your question whether there would be a sympathy wave. I think it's more than the sympathy. It's more of a strategic thing. I don't think Jagan would have taken this decision without assessing the kind of repercussions that he would get it, and he would have probably taken a decision that there would not be any sympathy and kind of stuff. But then the very fact that today, going forward, although today Jagan is more or less supporting the BJP at the center for various bills to be passed, but then over the period of time in the next few months, there will be a kind of an alliance, Gadbandhan, what as they call it, between the three trio of TDP, Jansena, and BJP. If that happens, then the story would be different anyway. So the sympathy factor would not be in a position there, because it's more of a who's a big corrupt guy in the whole system. So that's where it ends. And answering your question directly, I'm not too sure if there would be any sympathy wave, because it's not necessary to have sympathy wave for TDP.
Well, in fact, the CID had given out a press statement on this particular arrest and how it resulted in the kind of chaotic situation that we are seeing in. Let's listen into what the CID had to say in its presser.
On 9 September, today at 6 a.m. at RK Function Hall, Nandyal, the CID Special Investigation Team officials have arrested the prime accused, Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu, former Chief Minister of AP, in connection with the alleged fraud in the Skill Development Corporation involving approximately 550 crores. This case revolves around the establishment of clusters of centers of excellence in state of Andhra Pradesh. A total estimated project value was 3,300 crores, and the fraud that was caused, the huge loss caused, is in the excess of 300 crores. So the arrangement is 90% Siemens company with 10% of Andhra Pradesh government money, together amounting to over 3,000 crores. So Andhra Pradesh government released 371 crores, a large part of which was siphoned off, and a small part of which was employed to establish centers of excellence. And the money, most of which was diverted to shell companies through fake invoices, and no actual delivery or sale of items mentioned in the invoices is seen in the investigation. This investigation implicates the prime accused, Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu, along with the Telugu Party, as beneficiaries of the misappropriated funds. Although the investigation began with the head of these Skill Development Corporation and the accused companies and the prime accused, the investigation revealed that the whole prime mover and the prime conspirator, the principal conspirator behind the entire scheme, and who orchestrated the transfer of the public funds from government to private entities via shell companies, has happened with the active leadership of Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu. He possesses exclusive knowledge of the transactions leading to the issuing of government orders and memorandum of understanding time to time, which makes him the central figure of this investigation. The ultimate use of the misappropriated funds, including cash holdings, with certain individuals like Vikas Kanvilkar of Design Tech, requires further examination. Key documents related to the case have gone missing, and Sri Chandrababu Naidu and other individuals are the primary suspects. The investigation is focusing on locating the misappropriated funds, making the custodial interrogation of Sri Chandrababu Naidu very much necessary. He being in a very important position as head of the political party and also having occupied the office of the Chief Minister, there is every chance of him investigating, influencing the course of investigation. Therefore, the necessity of taking him into custody. The material, including statements of public officials recorded under Section 164 CRPC, clearly points to the involvement of Sri Naidu as the principal decision maker to release the money in advance from government. The charges in this case carry penalty of more than 10 years of imprisonment, and given this deep-rooted conspiracy, the custodial interrogation is deemed necessary to uncover all aspects of the financial crime. The role of this common players along with him associated with the investigation, more particularly the secretary and the son of the former Chief Minister, all this requires further investigation. ED and GST, the central agencies, have already investigated into it. You all know it is public document. Since it is a deep-rooted economic offence, a thorough and deep investigation is done by duly following all the criminal law procedures. All the laws and subject matters are deeply examined, and the relevant material will be placed before the competent court. The entire offence has occurred in the knowledge of the prime mover, the conspirator, and final beneficiary of this defalcation money.
Well, you heard that the CID had to say. What they're trying to say is that during the rule of Chandrababu Naidu, when he was the Chief Minister of the residual Andhra Pradesh, there was this guarantee was given about a job guarantee scheme, but these promises were not fulfilled, is what is being said. During his rule, Chandrababu failed to provide jobs and special status to the state. The allocation of 3,356 crores for skill development was one of the schemes that came forward. Within 2 months of coming to power in June 2014, the skill development scam emerged. Chandrababu appointed Soumyadri Shekhar Bose as MD of Skill Development Corporation and Vikas Kanvilkar as MD of Design Tech Systems Private Limited. In August 2014, Chandrababu Naidu's government approved the project with minimal scrutiny. The project cost around 3,356 crores, was divided with 90% contributed by a private company and Design Tech and 10% by the government. Now, interestingly enough, it is the allegations, these are all allegations, ladies and gentlemen, coming in. The allegation put forward is that over 70 transactions involving the money was funneled through shell companies. He also said that the allegations in fact put forward are like this as well, that the funds were released without clear contractual agreements and objections were ignored. Interestingly enough, one of the allegations put forward is that the note files related to the project was also allegedly destroyed. There is also suspicions of fraudulent activities, including companies claiming Senwad without paying service tax. So, Shekhar, you know, when it comes to the image of Chandrababu Naidu, you have this person who is considered to be a technocrat, who understands tech development. In Hyderabad, came into prominence during his chief ministership, is the claim. So when you have a person like that, and then we talk about another aspect of it has been the three capital, and we've talked about how Amaravati missed the bus. There were some construction projects that were initiated, but then did not fructify later as well. What is this particular scam all about? It is about not rightfully going ahead and giving it the scrutiny it required. Is it that the funds were released without clear contractual agreements? And then, if it were released, was it released because of pressure from the then CMO?
It could be because Siemens has washed off its hands from the whole thing, saying that we have got nothing to do with this, and Siemens was put on the top for the sake of credibility, and their representative in his private capacity is said to have participated in this, and that Design Tech is a shell company, and they didn't have any experience of whatever to execute these things. So there is a prima facie, and eight people were arrested in this case earlier, and I think they are out on bail right now. And the case is going on, and TDP has been aware of this. And without the and the CID is also alleging that the note file, there is no note file. Maybe it is destroyed, and the evidence has been tampered with. So these charges need to be probed. We cannot jump to conclusion. But then I would like to tell you two things. One counter to what you just now mentioned. He is tech savvy and he's made Hyderabad. This is a perception he has been able to create with the support of the media that has been crooning him in his favor for the last several decades. But during Chandrababu Naidu's time, it was P.V. Narasimha Rao's economic liberalization policies that have come in, and at the same time, Bangalore also developed, and Pune also developed, Madras Tidal Park also developed, and everything has, all these cities have caught up with that. And Chandrababu Naidu was incidentally there as the chief minister, and yeah, he proactively went and ushered in Bill Gates to set up his shop here, and a few great things were done during his regime. But he claims credit for things which he has not done. He conceived the idea of an international airport, and then he says he's very happy on seeing it being a reality. He has actually no role. Like, he instantly identified some land and given it to GMR consortium, and then that's it. After that, he lost his job in Hyderabad. And it was YSR who had the foundation stone laid for the international airport by Sonia Gandhi, and it was YSR who had the international airport inaugurated by Sonia Gandhi, ditto with Outer Ring Road. But Chandrababu Naidu makes claims for all these things. He claims credit for everything that he has not done also. So he has that weakness. But then, yeah, and with regard to this particular case, it needs to be probed, and like Mr. Murali was just now mentioning in his analysis earlier, Jagan Reddy now has got a shot in the arm in the form of, if you are calling me tainted, you are also tainted. And so he is getting Chandrababu Naidu as a company. And also, mind you, you were also talking that these are just allegations. Everything with regard to Jagan Reddy are also only allegations.
No, I'm not saying, I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying these are allegations. As a journalist, I should say, unless convicted by court, I am no one to pass a judgment. So I'm just saying that's why I was reading out.
Yeah, I know. But I'm not saying that. These are all allegations. Against Jagan Reddy also, they are all allegations. No case has been proved. Nothing. No, not even a single case has been taken to its logical end. Not even a single person has been convicted of the charges that were leveled against him, and the case is still continuing for the last 12 years. So now these are allegations, and they need to be probed. And if Chandrababu Naidu is put behind bars, the TDP keeps on saying that Jagan Reddy is jailed. Who will be jailed? Anybody who is corrupt only will be jailed. So now Chandrababu Naidu is being jailed. So naturally, that weapon will be used against him by the YSR Congress. And as Mr. Murali was just now saying, Jagan would have done the field assessment to understand whether there would be a backlash. And so this needs to be probed, and there is a case in this. there is a prima facie case, and it has not borne fruit, the whole thing. And 10% of the fund, which was the contribution supposed to be made by the government of Andhra Pradesh, has been invested and sent into the accounts of these companies, which is not Siemens again, mind you. So this is there is a case in this.
That is the case in this. Of course, let's in fact find out what the investigations would in fact lead to. Let me in fact play that particular bite that Chandrababu gave just as his arrest was happening. Let's listen into it once again.
క్యాడర్కి ప్రజలకి ఈరోజు నేను ఏ తప్పు చేయలేదు, కావాలని రాత్రి వచ్చారు. రాత్రి వచ్చి ఈ ప్రాంతం అంతా కూడా భయభ్రాంతులు చేశారు. ఏదో కేసులో పెట్టి ఏమాత్రం ఆధారాలు కూడా చూపించకుండా ఈరోజు నన్ను అరెస్ట్ చేశామని చెప్పే పరిస్థితికి వచ్చారు. నేను అడిగాను, ఏం చేశాను చెప్పమన్నాను. లేదంటే ప్రూఫ్ ఆఫ్ కాన్సెప్ట్ కూడా ప్రైమా ఫేస్ ఏమైనా ఉంటే చూపేయమన్నాను. ఏమీ చేయకుండా ఇప్పుడు ఎఫ్ఐఆర్ వేసాం అని ఒక ఎఫ్ఐఆర్ కాపీలో కూడా నా రోల్ కానీ ఏదైతే వాస్తవాలు ఉన్నాయో అవేమీ చెప్పకుండా ఈరోజు చేసే పరిస్థితికి వచ్చారు. ఇది చాలా బాధాకరం. ఇది చాలా
Well, that was in fact Chandrababu Naidu on that particular aspect of that case, saying that he will fight it out. Let me also get in Mr. Murli into the discussion right now. Mr. Murli, the big question that he's asked is that where is his name mentioned in the FIR? If his name is not mentioned, then why did they go ahead with the arrest? We are a little confused on that factor, whether the FIR was registered in 2021. If the name is not there in the FIR, then why go ahead with the arrest?
See, honestly, even I'm as confused as anybody else in the state of Andhra Pradesh. But the fact is that the CBI, in their wordings, they said they didn't talk about anything on whether his name is there in the FIR or not, which is conspicuously, which is not the right way to do it in any case. But then, in the passing remarks, they said, we understand he orchestrated the entire process. And so because he have the power to orchestrate this kind of a thing, so we got arrested. This is the sum and substance of what the CBI statement is all about. And which means that you are arresting a person in the terms of a conjecture. You don't have an evidence, and you are just going ahead to arrest him. And later on, we said, if the court gives the bail, it's okay. He is also on the bail, and this case goes on for donkey's years. And then whatever happens in the elections, then you said this is what easy for somebody to spread the work on the other person. So I think on a mere conjecture, you cannot arrest a person unless it's specifically mentioned in the FIR. And that's exactly what the advocates of the Babu and were also contesting. But then today the arrest warrant was there, so he has to go to the jail, into the custody. And whether what happens on Monday, hopefully, if the courts open and then if he gets a bail, that's a different issue altogether. So, to my mind, from whatever limited legal acumen that I have, I think it's not the right way of doing it. And just to give a rejoinder to what Mr. Sai Shekhar was mentioning, that the moment if there are no somebody is in the custody, so he's an accused, and obviously, but then there is some kind of an evidence. And but then it's the same case happened with Nambi Nambiya, and he was arrested for 20 plus years, and then at the end of the day they said there is no case on him. So which means that it is a mere political, a kind of a conspiracy made on him, and the same can be with anybody else as well. So today it's a point of conjecture, as I said, that we have limited data, and with this limited data, this is what probably we can come to a kind of a reasonable conclusion.
Well, in fact, Sai Shekhar, what was the arrest trying to serve? Was it just a dramatic episode being created in the grand dramatic nature of Andhra Pradesh politics? Because if his name is not there in the FIR, the arrest has happened, it'll take time for him to go to the court and try to clear the factors on that. But the arrest warrant is still there. So what is it? What
FIR can be registered, supplementary FIR can be registered. There is a scope for that, law provides for that. And initial FIR, that is first information report, filed in 2021, may not have had these names, but then some people, there was some investigation that went into this whole episode, and some people were arrested, and a case has been built, and maybe now they got the clinching evidence to, submit to the court of law against Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, and a supplementary FIR can be filed. And basis that he can be arrested. But then I completely second the idea of Mr. Murli, it is a political vendetta. There is no doubt about it. It's not like, I'll show, you slap me on my face and I'll show the other cheek. That Gandhiji principle is no longer working. It's tit for tat. It is because of the TDP leaders, Ashok Gajapati, Yanamal Ramakrishna and all, Erra Naidu and all, impleaded in the letter written in the case of Jagan Reddy's DA case. This may be a recoil of, or a retaliation or a response they have given to Chandrababu Naidu, and maybe they have timed it so well that when Chandrababu Naidu and his son are extensively touring the state, spreading canards, and yesterday Chandrababu Naidu was talking about the very birth of Jagan Mohan Reddy, and this was taken very serious exception to by YSRCP leaders. So maybe to control them, they have timed it so well. I don't know. But then, with regard to FIR, there is a possibility of filing a supplementary FIR and seconding their stand in the court of law.
Well, also we have some more reactions coming in. Let's listen into it. We have a reaction coming in from the TDP side. Let's listen into it.
Today, it's a black day for the nation, particularly state of Andhra Pradesh. Our former Chief Minister and TDP National President, Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu, has been arrested by APCID police in Nandyala in connection with Skill Development Corporation scam. It is alleged by the CID that 370 crores amount was misused, rather 370 crores for funds were siphoned by the Indian government under the leadership of Chandrababu Naidu and committed fraud, committed forgery and committed the offences of Prevention of Corruption Act, etc. They made certain allegations. In connection with the alleged crime, on 9/12/2021, crime number 29/21 has been registered by CID economic offences under section 166, 167, 418, 420, 465, 468, 471, 409, 201, 109, read with 120B, IP.
Telugu Party President and former Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu was arrested in Andhra by the Economic Offence Wing SIT of CID of AP in AP Skill Development Corporation scam, in which 371 crores of public money was siphoned off, embezzled. And this was already proved by central agencies way back in, 2-3 years ago. In 2017-18 itself, GST Intelligence, Director General of GST Intelligence, they have identified 240 crores to the tune of 240 crores embezzlement or siphoning of money through money laundering from the amounts received from Skill Development Corporation. Now what we have been doing here, CID is doing is, an FIR was filed in 2021 December, and it's being a deep-rooted economic offence. Whatever the due process of investigation, they found that the then CM Chandrababu was directly involved in this scam. So to further elicit whatever the information that is needed, they took him into custody. So whatever that happens, then now they will inform to the media, through media also to the people. But here the basic character of the scam is the scheme itself, which was then announced through a GO. That is a bogus scheme. I mean, it involves 3,300 crore rupees worth centers of excellence, setting up of centers of excellence, as per the GO number 4, which was issued in 2015, June.
You know, reading from all these kind of reactions that are coming in, it looks like it is going to be a long process of law that the ruling government is also in fact going to head and follow up with. Well, we have both our guests with us still. We have Sai Shekhar also. Sai Shekhar, you heard the reactions coming in from both the camps. Both of them seem to be entrenched in a manner to say that, of course, this they plan to take it to the public. We have, of course, elections coming in, so you have to take it to the public. And both of them are saying one thing, that when it comes to the accusations and allegations, you know, it is not going to die down. It is going to be there. The YSRCP is going to harp on this particular aspect of the skill development case, while the TDP is going to harp about the allegations against YSRCP Chief Jagan. So these allegations are going to say, so the due process of law that has happened on the sidelines of this is actually just an outgrowth of what kind of rivalry that is being brewing between both the parties. In residual Andhra Pradesh, when these two parties fight it out, you know, there are several issues that the people of Andhra Pradesh are actually trying to understand. One is they don't have a capital. Secondly, what is going to happen to the support that the centre was supposed to provide for residual Andhra Pradesh? Thirdly, when it comes to the development of certain regions, still there is no clarity upon this. Despite all this, this is the mainstream news that is taking up. Why is it that none of these parties focused on any of the three aspects that affect the people of Andhra Pradesh?
Chandrababu Naidu has focused and he wanted to develop Amaravati as the state capital. And he started building secretariat, then assembly and all. And then he labeled them as temporary secretariat, temporary assembly. So he made that as a temporary capital. That was used by Jagan Reddy because they have their own charge and allegation that Chandrababu Naidu is trying to create the capital there with a deep-rooted interest, personal and political interest. And Jagan's party did not agree with that capital. Initially, they approved of it. But after that, they did not agree to that capital, and they were, you know, head over heels to move it off the Amaravati and then create three capitals, which is a new concept. I don't know. India has two capital systems, but not three capital systems in multiple states. This is one. And second thing, as you rightly said, you know, it is politically motivated. But Jagan Reddy's cases are now stale. Even if Chandrababu Naidu are in the TDP and the media supporting them, they keep on crooning about it. It's all stale and everyone knows what it is. And after the cases only, once he lost, he came almost to the power, but lost the election in 2014 and 2019. He did his Padayatra and he got the popular endorsement. So Jagan Reddy's cases are not going to hold any water. And this is a fresh case, and this they will try to amplify and blow out of proportions. And how much of it is true, we don't know. And like I also don't know how much of the charges against Jagan Reddy were true. So same way, I am also not sure how many of these charges are, whether Chandrababu Naidu was actually involved in this. I really don't know. Let the law take its own course. So, and yeah, Andhra Pradesh is in a disarray.
To Murli also is that, in a state, I think for a state like Andhra Pradesh, the thing is actually cut out. The state has no capital. The state's political structure is working from different parts of the districts of the state. There is no direction. There is a question about development. There is a question about the shock that the people of Andhra Pradesh have to come out. None of this is being addressed. Both the political parties have made it their personal ego battle in this. So at the end of the day, the issues that have to be spoken about is also intertwined with regards to the ego clashes of these two gentlemen. So where is the common Andhra person actually going to be represented? He's not, of course, the other marginal parties are not involved in this at all, so they are going to keep quiet about it. But the prominent parties seem to be just at the loggerheads of these two factors. So do you think there is a direction of thought in that?
Yeah, actually, when you said there is no financial capital, there is no capital in Andhra Pradesh, I would say that it's not just the political capital. There is no financial resources as a capital.
As a state, a capital becomes the first identity of a state. It doesn't exist.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm just trying to say that one is the political capital, the other is more of a financial resources as capital to fund the development in the state. So today it's almost a bankrupt state. It's on the threshold of with all the freebies that has been happening. There is very little money for the development. And today, if let's face it, Jagan was mentioning about the three capital scenario about several years back. And till today, nothing concrete has come, which means that they're just whiling away the time. If somebody is dedicated on development of the state, then he would take a concrete decisions and move on. Now, here the question is on moving on is only on one aspect, how to retain the next term. And the same case is with the TDP and the trio parties, where they want to use us from the Jagan and get into the field. So in this conflicts, or in this kind of scenario, the common man in Andhra Pradesh is totally. There are two segments of people who are there in Andhra today. One is the one who is really worried about what's going to happen, and the second guy is that it doesn't matter to him because he gets everything free and he doesn't have to work. So he's getting everything on the platter, and if he were, there's no need for him to work. And when people have this concept of not to work, where is the question of the development? Now, this is a basic question that people of Andhra should do a self-introspection, that free money today is worth safeguard tomorrow or the day after or 10 years from today. No. So that's something which they have. And today, let's face it, even the land prices, which was at a sky high earlier on 5 years back. Today, the land prices in Andhra is come to a basic minimum level, which means that there is no, even if I have a resource of a land pool, I cannot do anything because I cannot capitalize it in any way. So this is the kind of a financial struggle that the guys are going through. And no wonder why half of the guys who are educated there, they move out of Andhra and they go elsewhere and start doing it.
Right, Mr. Murli, and thank you, Mr. Sai Shekhar, for in fact joining us. The question that we need to be asking is this: that when it comes to the aspect of Andhra Pradesh has suffered the issue about bifurcation. It has lost out on its capital, and then you have two men who are supposed to give direction to the political stability of Andhra Pradesh, fighting it out, slugging it out, making it an issue between both of them. Now, after this particular arrest, questions of corruption allegations flying from one side to the other, the big question that the people Andhra Pradesh should be asking is this: what about their development? What about their capital? What about their identity? These are three things that they should seriously ask about it and probably come to an answer to tell the people who are playing politics at the moment, some the victim card, the other who's trying to say that they're just going behind corruption, that at the end of the day, these are the three questions that stands, and that is what needs to be answered. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of our News9 special on Chandrababu's arrest. On the other side, we give you continuous coverage of the G20 summit.
इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे हैं क्योंकि सभी लोग कर रहे हैं.
Coaching is now starting from grade 3, 4, 5, 6.
कोटा जाने वाली बीच राह में आधे टेस्ट देके हैं सिलेक्शन की चाह में.
ऑल इंडिया का बच्चा कोटा जाता है.